what a wonderful.
Hello, 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 and welcome to this episode of Resilient People. And by the way, Happy New Year. This is the first day of 2023. And I know it's been a while since we had the first episode of Resilient People. However, I had some challenges in 2022. Um, and that's why I couldn't um, do things as I had planned. But by the grace of God, this year we are going full speed with Resilient People. And I just want to say that I'm so grateful to be alive, to be here, to be able to share with you. And 2022 was a year of a lot of good experiences, a lot of nice stuff, but also a lot of challenging stuff, especially the last 2 months. And I want to share something with you that usually, one will be a bit embarrassed to share, but I do believe that when we share our testimonies or the experiences we've been through and we are able to overcome them, it's good to tell other people because so many people out there are passing through similar situations and they think that they're alone and there's no way out. However, when you hear that someone is passing through something or has been through something and the way they're managing it, it gives you hope, right? So one of the things that usually I have been having issues with is my like that emotional part of myself, with depression and stuff. So usually for the most part what used to happen is like when I see I'm getting down or something, I will actually just you know find an escape, for it. And when I say escape, is like when I see I'm getting down or I'm feeling bad, immediately I recognize it, or I used to recognize it, and then I say, no, I have to get out. Maybe I'll go to the beach, go to the mountains, find something to distract my mind, an activity that I will enjoy. And usually that will help me to come out of the depression like really fast. However, from November, December 2022, I started seeing this pattern that I was like going down and down, but instead of coming out of the depression, I like went deeper into it. And it was so bad that last year, 2022, I I had a thought of ending my life. So thank God it was just a thought. And why do I say this? Excuse my voice. um, is because of the fact that I was having so many thoughts in my mind, and it would seem like I wasn't able to control them the way I should or the way I used to. So I will be having thoughts about you're not enough. I'll be having thoughts about you're not a good mother, you're not a good wife. Look at you. I will look at my body and I will see myself fat or saggy, or you're getting old and look at you, no one loves you, you're good for nothing, you never finish what you start, a bunch of negative feedback coming from my mind. And that was wearing me down to the point that uh, two occasions, I remember once I was like sitting in front of the computer, I was working, and I started crying, and something told me just end it, end everything. And I got scared because this is even though I used to get down sometimes before, I never um make it to go that far as to end my life. That hasn't happened in many years. So I was like concerned, and I wasn't telling anyone about what I was feeling. I mean, you will never tell that I was actually depressed unless you like know me really well. You see certain things in my behavior. I wasn't chatting or talking to anyone. I removed my photos from my Facebook, from my Instagram. I didn't want to know anything about social media. I didn't want to be sociable with anyone. I barely spoke to my husband, to my kids and stuff. But it was getting hard for me to take a shower, to do the basic things. I was really really down, but eventually I said I need help. I can't do this alone. If I continue this way, I was concerned that I will actually hurt myself. You can never be so confident, especially with these emotions and stuff. So I did talk to my husband about what I was feeling, and some thoughts and things that were coming through my mind, because it's almost never something that happens from one day to the other. It's like an accumulation of thoughts and things that lead to that depression. And then sometimes, of course, we have the hormones, or we have a chemical imbalance that will like push that even further, which I think has been my case sometimes. I'm like, am I getting, into the menopause and my hormones are just playing with me? I don't know, but the thing is that at the end, I spoke to my family, and I spoke to one or two people that I consider very strong spiritually. I said, please pray for me, because I am in trouble. I don't feel good. I'm not sure what's going to happen if I continue this way. And beside that, no shame in it. I went to the psychiatrist. Actually went to a psychiatrist that happens to be my friend as well. And we were talking. I needed to like vent. And there are certain things that you just can't tell your family or your friends, or you prefer not to tell them about those stuff. So I told her. And something that she made me realize that was very interesting is that, I wasn't looking at it, although I always talk about gratitude and stuff. um she made me understand that all that I was doing at that point was complaining. I don't like this, and this is happening, and this and the other. And that's something I always try to avoid. I like to be grateful for everything, but I found myself, part of my of that depression and bitterness was because I was complaining, and everything wasn't perfect. And then she made me understand also that I have this, like, I always want to be like, I'm a perfectionist, and that's not necessarily good, because the moment that you see flaws in your plan, or things don't go the way you planned it, then you start, getting down, and you can get depressed, you can get discouraged. And I understand sometimes I can be a control freak. I want everything to go this way. I have a plan. And if it doesn't go that way, I'm like, what did I do wrong? You know, those things happen. And I know I'm not the only person that goes through that. So I hope that you can relate to what I'm saying, and understand that, you know, being a perfectionist, wanting to have everything under control all the time, is not necessarily the best. Sometimes we just have to flow, we have to relax, we need to understand God's timing. And it's funny because I always say, yes, I trust in the Lord, and His time is the best. However, when things happen, when life is passing by, I want it to be in my time. I want to have control of everything. I want to know what's going to happen next. What's the next step? What are we doing? And there's nothing bad in organizing things and being, because God is a God of order, yes. But the problem is when you're like what I said before, a control freak. You want to have everything under control, and you give no space for God to work and do His thing. So that was me. And I believe that that contributed also to the depression, and why it was so intense. I can't tell you for sure, like, oh, it was this or the other. I'm just thinking of different things that could have, made it worse at that moment. So another thing is that I I went all full on God, because I was getting so busy, and not necessarily doing bad things. I was just busy with, church, with family, children, doing this, doing the other, that I kind of neglected my time with God, and my meditation time, and just, spend time with Him, and our relationship. So the moment that I was, let's say, weak in the Lord, my spiritual life, is that moment that I believe, like, the enemy, that's always like a roaring lion looking at who he can devour. He found that weak spot in me, and he just picked on it, and he got me real bad at that time. But I just thank God that He's so good. And He just, like, let me put it this way, He just embraced me and pushed me up and changed everything for me. It and another thing is not something also that the recuperation that happened from one day to the other. It took a while. I'm talking about the last 2 months. from the time I realized that I needed the help, the time that I just surrendered everything to God. It wasn't something that happened immediately. Like I woke up the next morning, like, yay, everything's fine. No, actually, I woke up, sometimes I felt even worse. But I just learned to trust Him. And I told Him, you know what, forgive me for wanting to have control over everything and wanting to do your job in my life. I told Him, you can take it all. You can take my dreams. You can take everything, because as a matter of fact, I didn't even have dreams. I was like so down. I was like, I don't care about anything. What do you want to do? I don't know. I don't care. Whatever happens, happens. I was like in that attitude. I was, just feeling bad. So I told God that, He could please take control of my life, but just let me come out of this ditch that I was in, because it's a horrible place to be. So if like you are depressed and stuff, don't think that you're alone. I know how that feels. And for me, the emotional pain was so much that I will actually feel like physical pain. For me, something that went like from my throat all the way down to my stomach. And I felt a sadness, like if someone had died, and I would cry easily. And I mean, it was just like a nightmare. It was literally like hell for me. Hell, not health, hell. Like I just, it was horrible. And I had a long time, as I said, I didn't get to feel that way so deeply. But I just thank God for His mercy. And I thank God for all those people also that, you know, my friends, people close to me that I got to talk to, even if it's a few words, and they understood with me and they stood by me. And sometimes, you don't want to talk to people because you feel they're going to judge you. And it has happened to me before that I'll open up and say, oh, I'm feeling bad. And they say, oh, no, as a Christian, you can't feel bad. What's wrong with you? Look at what you have. And, there's a point when you're in a ditch, and what you need is for someone to help you to come out. No, someone that will step on you and make you feel even worse. Because if you tell me that, I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so ungrateful, on top of everything. So I just thank God that this time, the people that I opened up to, they were so supportive, and they were like, don't worry, it's going to be fine. This is just a down moment. And then I remember that in the Bible said that we are like to take care of each other as brothers and sisters. When someone has fallen, you help them to, get back up. And if the Bible is telling me this, is that because God knows that we're going to fall now and then, that we're going to have weak moments, that sometimes we're going to feel sad. But sometimes what we do is condemn each other and judge each other because we're not feeling well, or we think because the fact that we're Christians, we don't have other emotions that just happiness. And yes, we have the joy of the Lord and everything, but there are moments that we forget, or things, circumstances, we let ourselves be so absorbed by what is happening around us that we don't focus on the promises that we have. So as I said, there was a time that when the sadness was coming, I could overcome easily. I would do what I have to do, and boop, I'm out. But this time I really felt deep in, and I was ready to give up. But I thank God for those brothers and sisters, my friends, that were there for me and helped me. And I thank God that He has allowed me to be here today and say happy 2023. There's so many people that didn't make it through to this year, and their purpose wasn't fulfilled in this life. And one of the things I want, I really desire, is to be a blessing to others. I want to be able to motivate, inspire other people that have been through or going through circumstances maybe similar to mine, or whatever you're going through, because all our experiences are not going to be the same. Sometimes you say you don't know what you're talking about because you've not been here. No, but I've been through hard times, and that's something all of us have in common. All of us have been through one thing or the other that sometimes make us feel or think of giving up. So I want to be able to be of encouragement. I want to be able to testify about God in my life. I mean, I don't know about other people's belief, but I want to, how would I put it? I want to say that my God, He's just awesome. He's just real. And you can really count on Him. It's not about our emotion. It's about the reality that He is true. And many people can argue and discuss about that. That's fine. I'm not going to go into that. I don't really want to take time to do that, because after all, we all have a free will. So I have decided to follow Jesus, to trust in him, to trust in God, and it's working for me. He has saved me so many times, and my life is what it is, as good as it is, because of him. So before I leave this earth, whenever that is, many years from now, hopefully, I want to at least leave that legacy, that inspiration, that motivation, and that, um, you know, push people to trust in God even more, and just let go of our own, plans and things, which is what hurt us sometimes. So basically, that's what I wanted to share today. I'm very excited to start this podcast and this program again, because now it's coming with a video too, um, so I can share it, in a better way. And I just thank those that are watching and those that are listening. I am so grateful. And I pray that, all these things that we are going to be talking about, um, really makes a good difference in your life. And it's not going to be always me. Actually, we have a list of people, invitees, is that the way you say it? Anyhow, a list of people that are going to be with me in the program, that are going to share their story of resilience. Many times we see the people, we see them now, and we say, oh, you're so lucky, you're so blessed, or whatever, and we don't know what people have been through. And when we hear about their stories, we're going to be surprised and definitely inspired and motivated. And if you want to be part of the program, just leave me a message. I'll be here and be glad to share your story with the world. And thank you so much. May God bless you, and let's be resilient people born to survive. Bye.